you did. Okay. What do these three things have in common? First of all, this is the video professor. Do you know who the video professor is? If not, you do not watch enough cable television. Okay? Yeah, the video professor is all those, pick something you want to learn on the computer and I will send you a free CD to teach you this particular subject. Video professor. Second, Baskin and Robbins, 31 flavors full of ice cream. Now, I don't know if they have 31 anymore, they may have more. And then what are these two things they have in common with this person? Jesus Christ. Yeah, they actually all have something very interesting in common. Do you know what they all are? They are all appetite whetters. That's what they are. They love to be able to give you just a little bit of taste of what they can do in the hopes that when you taste it, you'll go, that is so great, I want more. The video professor says, here's a free CD because I know if you do this, you'll come back to me for all your computer learning needs. And you can walk into a Baskin or Robbins and go, man, I've never seen that flavor before. Can I try it? They will love to give you a little bit of scoop or a taste because they're convinced their ice cream is so good. If you eat it, you'll come back to them for that flavor again and again and again. And then there's Jesus. Jesus basically comes and he says, you know what? I just want you to experience who I am. I want you to experience my love. I want you to experience my goodness. I want you to experience my power. I want you to experience my transforming ability. I want you to experience my wisdom and insight. Because if you could just taste me, you'll come back to me again and again and again. It's why the scripture says this in Psalm 34 and verse 8. It says, oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Oh, the joys of those who take refuge in Him. Oh, taste and see. It's like God saying, try me. You'll like me. And He even works on all the mighties of the world. Yeah, how many of you were alive in the late 1970s, early 80s? Yeah. Remember the Life commercial for Steve? In case you didn't, I brought it to you this morning. Here's my key.
That cereal must be good for you. You try it, I'm not going to try it, you try it. I'm not going to try it. Let's get Nike. Yeah. He don't need it. He ain't that. He likes it. He likes it.
When you bring mine home, don't tell the kids it's one of those nutritional cereals you've been trying to get them to eat. You're the only one who has to know.
See, God is like life cereal on steroids. Because no matter how hard-hearted you may be, no matter how disillusioned you may be, no matter how skeptical you may be, when you actually try God, when you actually experience God, it's like, whoa, I had no idea. I want more of that. Once we experience God, once we experience His Son, Jesus Christ, it's like, wow, I had no idea that in His calling there is such purpose. I had no idea that in His insights I find meaning to life. I had no idea that in His embrace, that in a relationship with Him, I find such love, and everything the human heart really craves is all wrapped up in God Himself. And what we need, you need, I need, we all need, is to experience more of who God really is. And how do you experience God? Well, here's one way I think we can experience God. We can open our hearts. Just open our hearts to the possibility that maybe, just maybe, God is the key to life. That maybe, just maybe, God is the one thing that all of life should revolve around. That God, maybe, just maybe, He is absolutely my reason for living, my only hope for real life. I'm not talking about, just like, well, I believe in God. No, I mean open to the possibility that God is your everything. Just to say, maybe it's possible. So I'm afraid sometimes we can become so incredibly skeptical. We see things, we hear things, we experience things, and it leads us to conclude that God really might not be so good or so real or so powerful or so loving. But maybe what we need to do is open the door to the possibility that maybe He actually is all of those things. Are you at least open to that this morning? If we want to experience God, it begins by just opening our hearts to Him. And listen very carefully. It doesn't matter how skeptical you may be. It doesn't matter how disillusioned you may be. It doesn't matter how angry you may be over something that has happened in your past. It does not matter what kind of experience that you have had with church or Christians in the past. You can bring all of that, but just open the door a little bit and consider the possibility that maybe, just maybe, God really is the key to life. The second thing we do to experience God is to walk in God's ways. In other words, quite simply, I would put it this way, just find some things that God says to do and go do them and see what happens. There's a fascinating story in the Bible. It's found in 2 Kings chapter 5. The story centers on a guy whose name is Naaman. And here's how the story goes. Naaman is like the main general and leader of the army of Syria, which at that time was an up-and-coming world power. And he had led them to a number of very impressive victories. And his fame was like off the charts. He was like the man. But somehow he had contracted leprosy, which meant he had a death sentence. And he was going to die an ugly, disfiguring, painful death as an outcast. But it just so happened that there was this little slave girl who served Naaman's wife, who happened to be back from Israel, who said, there's a prophet in Israel. There's this guy who knows God, and God does some amazing things to it. And I have no doubt that if Naaman went back to this guy, he could heal your husband of leprosy. And so she told her husband, who basically tried everything else, no hope, no cure, said, you know what? I'll give it a try. So he went to his king, said, I can go to Israel. Can I see if maybe this guy will do it? And the king said, absolutely fine. I'll give you stuff. I'll give you people who go with you. I'll give you a letter pleading your case, And Naaman takes it and he heads off to Israel. And he shows up to the king. And the king looks up and looks at the letter and says, who am I? Am I God? I can't heal anybody. Is this just a trick? Are you trying to come here to get healed, and since I can't do it, you'll go back and then you'll come and attack me as a country? Just leave me alone. Naaman begins to leave when word finally gets to the prophet living in the land at that time, whose name was Elisha. And Elisha sends word to Naaman and says, come to my house. And so Naaman and his entourage, they come to Elisha's house for this big meeting. And what Elisha did was really odd. Because number one, he didn't even go outside to greet Naaman. In fact, he just took one of his servants and said, hey, listen, go outside, greet Naaman, and then tell him what he needs to do to be healed. So first, Naaman is not even greeted by Elisha. That's kind of a snub. I'm somebody. I'm a power. I'm a player. You can't even come and talk to me. And then the servant said, here's what Elisha says you need to do to be healed. You need to go down to the Jordan River and you need to plunge yourself in it 7 times.